we're on. And boop. I'm pretty sure. I'm just going to check something real quick. Yeah. Okay, I got the right title. We're going to post the rules. I'm very cracky today. Of course, as usual, let's do a little intro. And for some reason, I had the script for the outro in my head, so we're gonna try to wash that out real quick. So if this is your first time watching the stream, hello, my name is Shiro. What I usually do on this stream is I talk a little bit about what happened artistically in the past week and or weekend. And then we move on to watching me draw my weekly webcomic Bootleg Cookie. And possibly take off the hoodie I live in now, because when I turn on all the lights it gets hot in here. And if any Twitch admins are listening in or watching, I have another shirt under it. I am not promising nudes. So I was actually pretty prolific this week. Like, there was a day where I was like, I think it was Monday, where I was like absolutely dead. I was tired, I was sore. And then I went to rest instead of working on Smack, and then I got bored of resting. And I'll show you pretty soon what I did instead. And I'll explain it. Otherwise, I have received, if any of you are on my other socials, I posted a photo. I received a bottle of Holbein Melts. And I did not expect the bottle to be this small. I didn't even expect the bottle because Mom forgot to give it to me for Christmas. Called me up, Shiro, what is this? What is this used for? And I'm like, blending pencils? And then she goes, okay, yeah, it was for you. I was supposed to put it in your Christmas stocking, but I forgot. Here you go. So I tried it out, actually. Music's still going. And here comes the experiment sketchbook. The Ohuhu bleedless paper. And I've been meaning to talk about that for a second, but first let me show you what I did with the pencil blender. We have Duncan. Of course, I posted a clearer photo on the socials. The focus is not doing too bad, so that's nice. That's appreciated. It's pretty smooth, and let me just run it under the light real quick. And yeah, another thing that I actually wanted the liquid blender for was to kind of try and wash out a little bit the bloom. Bloom on colored pencil is basically like most colored pencils. Binder is made out of wax. The wax is what pretty much keeps the pigment together. And it's not just wax, because then you end up with Crayola pencils. But the wax, after use, the wax does tend to kind of float up to the top like the cream in a crop, brother. And which, when you move the paper around, when you finish a pencil piece, will end up with a lot of white shine. That is the bloom. And I was hoping that the liquid blender would prevent or at least remove a lot of the bloom, because I also have some pencil blenders. Pencil blenders work well, I will admit. Or another thing you can do if you want to blend your colored pencils is to use the palest version of the color you're using in order to blend it. So like that it doesn't wash out like when you use the white pencil to blend. You can also use the white pencil, but using the lightest color you own. Like, let's say you're doing something in blue, grab your lightest blue to blend it out, is what I'm saying. But from what I'm seeing, it did take out a lot of the bloom. There's still a little bit on his cheek, and it's not exactly something that I can show on camera. Not with this lighting. That's why now I have a the light that I could like lean / clip over here so we can actually have more light on me and I don't depend on whatever website I have on my second on my second screen to light me up. Now, as I was saying, there's a little something I've been wanting to talk about concerning this specific sketchbook. Like, I've watched a video critiquing the Ohuhu bleed-proof marker pad. First of all, yes, I agree, the pages are not perfectly white. The pages are gray, and the method in which they make it bleed-proof is true, like a type of thick fiber cardboard in between the regular drawing sheets, and the person considered those bad things because she couldn't achieve her regular level of professionalism or regular level of quality. And by the way, she was like, I forgot the name because it's been literally like 6 or 9 months since I watched the video, and it's been playing in the back of my mind, but I don't remember her name because, of course, neurodivergent, I'm an idiot. And she considered these bad things. However, this is where I would like to offer a counter argument, because I specifically bought this sketchbook so I could muck around with it. Because she was like, it's cheap paper. I agree. I absolutely agree. Then you can't do professional work on it. I also agree. Yes, you are perfectly right. Which is why I bought it. The fact that it's bleed-proof and fairly not sponsored and fairly affordable makes it a quote-unquote stress-free sketchbook. I can actually sketch and not care if my drawings overlap or be scared, because they're doodles, they're experiments. This is clearly an experiment. This is where I tried gilding for the first time. This is my second time. I tried 4 times. The 4th time was a charm. And I still gotta work my way through it. But I can freaking experiment with it. It's not like super mega expensive fancy paper that would make me panic every time I use it. Like, oh my god, I spent so much money. Everything should be a work of art Michelangelo would be jealous of every time I draw in my sketchbook. It's a sketchbook. It's not a professional illustration book. Like, let's say I draw something really good in this book, and I think, oh, this would look great as a print. Well, then I'm just gonna redraw it on a better piece of paper. It's a sketchbook. And I can use both sides because I have full sketchbooks, but it's like one side of the paper is always used. So, let's say I have pencil pieces and they smudge together because they move around a lot. That's why there's not pencil sketches in that one. Or, if I'm trying to use ink or paint in the sketchbook, and then it bleeds through it, and then I have to skip a page or 2 even, if the bleeding is good. This paper really handles bleeding, like, scarily well. Like it's witchcraft, it's what it is. But the point of the sketchbook is not to make print-worthy art. Is to lessen the stress of owning a sketchbook. Because you can use all the paper. And it's cheap. So you can mess around, which is the whole point of art, if you ask me. But once again, like I said, it is a counter-argument. But at the same time, I'm agreeing with her that it's not professional-grade paper, but that's the whole point. Secondly, speaking of good paper, I had seen something on Instagram, and it's this artist that does watercolors and does the line art in red pencil, and then there's some parts where they overlap with a blue pencil. Now I didn't do that. I used ink. Why? Because. And after I was done playing with Duncan on that one, I felt I wasn't done playing with Duncan. So I grabbed my, not sponsored, Fluid 100 cotton watercolor pad. For those of you who don't know the difference between a watercolor pad and a watercolor book, sketchbook, stuff like that, there is blue on the top and the bottom to keep the paper taut. For when it dries, it doesn't curl up as much. There's also pads where, like the top, the bottom, the side, and almost all of the side are glued together. Then you just put a little palette knife here, and then you start slashing it around. Duncan is still trapped in this one. It's for those of us that like watercolor but don't like the idea of pre-stretching the paper and then taping it all down, because I like to turn my paper around when I draw. And I made a mono style Duncan. Duncan is not my character. Duncan is my friend Joel's character. If you're looking for him, it's at the time of filming this live stream. It's Joel Art of the Stars, if I'm not mistaken. And this is my little signature stamp that I got off of Vistaprint. Once not sponsored, but there you go. Why? Because I felt like it. Been a long time I wanted a little Shiro kanji to just plop. And I used my, should be dry by now, my Art Nouveau palette from Koretake Gansai. Once again, not sponsored. Get used to hearing that, because I am not sponsored anywhere. I just really like Kuretake's stuff. I can work with Kansai Tambi. It works easier than watercolored. It's thicker, it's more opaque. Let's have another sip. For those of you that are on my Discord, I'm pretty sure I figured out how events work on Discord. I keep forgetting to announce it. Somebody remind me after a stream. I dropped all the 2023 sketch cards on my Ko-fi shop. I dropped everything in the bargain bin. I still have like a lot of sketch cards that I need to put in the shop, and they're going to be in the bargain bin too, because they are old, and I need the room and I need the money to make more cards. Oof. And I'm starting to get too hot, so we are going to switch from the cute little hoodie to the Avengers nightgown. Oof. I need to cut my nails. This is very uncomfortable. And the funny thing is, the minute I finish the stream and I turn off all the lights, I'm going to need the hoodie again. That's how quick the temperature exchange is in this room. Now I'm just going to scoot that up here so we can get to... And that's the other thing I was talking about earlier. Yeah, you guys can see the timeline a little bit at the bottom of the screen. I was sick, I needed to rest, I got bored of resting. So I got up and I tried to learn. Like, I literally had the same tutorial on loop on this screen in order to learn how the timeline work on now before I show you guys the actual animation, I'm going to put this in be right back mode, because companion mode wants me to scan a QR code for CSP to reconnect the phone to it, and you guys don't need to see that. I'm still here. I'm still paying attention. All right, super. So if we push the play button now, the preview, it's probably only a little blurry on your end, but on my end it's like extremely blurry. Even if I put it down to the size it's supposed to be, it gets really ridiculously blurry. And when I push stop, it goes back to normal. When I made an animated GIF out of it, which if you got Nitro, you can use as an emote on the So Very Unofficial Discord channel. I do plan on making more. I just need to be more comfortable with how the timeline works in Clip Studio. But if you ignore the pixely aspect of the preview, it's a pretty decent blinking animation. It's a 3-step blink. Open eyes, half open eyes, closed eyes. But I set it so that the blink is open eye, closed eye, mid-open eyes, and then open eyes again. I felt it made it look more natural of a blink than open eyes, mid-close, close, mid-close, open. It looks more like a blink to me, at least. And I'm hoping that when I find the time with enough practice, I could get back to the level of quality that I used to have in Jask Animation Shop, like 20 years ago. If not more, 20, 25 years ago. I was really comfortable doing pixel animations using Jask. Then I tried to understand Flash, and I tried other programs, and this one, the timeline was really messing me up. So if I do when, because I do want to do more of those little emotes, I'm probably going to have the same tutorial playing in a loop on the side. But yeah, I'm trying to relearn animation. And I don't know if you guys can see on the bottom, it's kind of hidden a little bit by the am I gonna say it? The throne icon and stuff like that. There's two layers. There's a line art layer, and then there's the color layer under it. So if I hide the line art, you get to see the color. And that's what it looks like. Same goes here. So it's not just one layer, it's literally like an animation cell. Though an animation cell, really, it's like the ink is on top, and then you flip it over to paint, so it's kind of like that. So we do not need to save. Now we're just going to hide the timeline, because we're not going to use it for a comic, and we're going to get started. Just gonna hide the Streamlabs window a little bit so I can actually have access to the script. We kind of need that part. Oh boy. I had some fake crab for lunch and that's all I'm going to taste. Now, I know I'm probably going to get yelled at for this one, but that's the kind of humor I share with my mom. When she misbehaves, I threaten her with putting her in an old age home. When she knows damn well, if I ever get around to doing that, like, it'll be like very, very, very final version 3.5.6. Last resort. Like, if I ever put her in one, it'll definitely be because I wouldn't be able to take care of her the way she needs to be taken care of anymore. And, like, this isn't even my gag. It's just something I repeat from this comedian that I love, François Pérusse. It's actually part of a whole sketch of his that I say to Mom. think it'll be funnier if I... Alright, wait, let's try that again, but without incorporating the music note in it. Oh, well, speak of the devil. My parents are home. Alright, now we can actually start to draw. You know, the reason we're all here. You know what would be weird? But I think about this stuff because this kind of stuff actually happens. Somebody that takes my mom misbehaving seriously and asks me if she has, like, Alzheimer's or stuff like that. No, she doesn't have Alzheimer's. You can be in your 60s and still have ADHD. You don't grow out of it. Adulthood is a scam. You have the same personality as an adult as you did as a child. I'm just less inclined to make up stories with my ponies. I just like looking at them and combing them once in a while because it's relaxing. I think I'm going to make Mom a little bigger. You know what was cute on DeviantArt this week? Somebody said they love my style. And it was actually on a drawing where I used my own style. It was actually on a Bootleg Cookie strip, if I'm not mistaken. So that was nice, thank you. Excuse me. like ideally, in the event that I have to put either of my parents in a home, and I hope this never happens, I would like it to be, you know, a comfortable one. A clean one where they're not going to be abused. I shouldn't have to request that, it should be the norm. Like, literally, the sketch that I'm quoting in this comic is a joke on, it's a whole joke on bad retirement homes. It says so in the name, Les Résidences Solitude. You don't need to know French to understand the word solitude, pronounced like that. And like, this is literally the only gag that I can really translate in English, because a lot of Pérus's jokes are puns, and puns are like really hard to translate, especially on the fly. He's hard to explain on the fly. I need some prep time, you know? Like, there's one joke I'm thinking about. Aux résidences solitude, on se la coule douce. Effectivement, on se la Miroslav coule douce. Il a poussé une madame d'une machine à coke. And of course, just saying that like that, when you're not French, when you don't know French, I just said a bunch of gibberish. Which with "la coule douce" repeated twice, and you guys have no idea why. But the way I see humor like that, this type of dark humor, it's also supposed to make you think, because now I know that they are really bad retirement homes. And even if I know of some good ones, and I do, I don't want to, you know, I don't want to dump my parents in one. They worked hard for this house. I would like them to stay in this house for as long as humanly possible for them. And it's also why I don't mind doing the chores. Mom keeps shrinking. She's still taller than me. Come on. There we go. By an inch, but still taller. When you're very short or when you're very tall, an inch makes all the difference. I don't draw my mom's hair as curly anymore because it's a lot more wavy than it is curly. So of course I try to keep it updated. I still draw myself with a Kool-Aid hair even if I don't put a hair clay in it anymore. I mean, what's the point? I don't work outside. Ooh, can you guys hear that? In art news, but those news are not recent at all. Tintin is in the public domain now. So is Popeye. In both cases, it's their first appearances. Popeye for Thimble Theater. And Tintin for his appearance in Tintin au Pays des Soviets in Le Petit 20e magazine. Do with this information as you will. I know that the writer for Spider-Man Noir wants to make a detective story with Tintin. Of course, he's not going to be able to use Captain Haddock or Calculus or stuff like that, but he is going to be able to include Milou, because Milou showed up in Le Pays des Soviets along with Tintin. So that'll be that's recognizable at least. And honestly, I hope Moulin Sar is shitting themselves. Yeah, I said it. I'm sorry, but I find it very hard to take a company controlled by the husband of Hergé's daughter seriously when he actually attempted to sue the Festival d'Angoulême because it had Tintin's little a rocket to the moon on its main poster. Let us remind the masses that the Festival d'Angoulême is a comic book festival, and that poster had characters from everywhere. And I know that they like claiming that they're so litigious to protect the sanctity of Tintin and of the IP. Allow me to doubt. I am pressing X to doubt repeatedly. They re-edit the books through Casterman over and over. They refuse to have new stories done. Like one of the best examples, okay, Tintin et l'Alphard. Tintin et l'Alphard is the final Tintin story, and it's not even finished. Hergé died in the middle of working through it. He had some completed pages, some heavily penciled pages, some sketches and thumbnails. Ipso facto, the book finishes with Tintin being drowned in plaster. Originally, Moulin et Sarr had commissioned an artist to finish the book, and they published that. But then at some point, they disavowed this version and took it off circulation, put it in the vault, stuff like that. And now the only edition that they allow for printing is the unfinished version. If you want l'Alphard, if you go to your comic store or your bookstore, your regular bookstore, you're going to get the unfinished version, and it comes with tons of notes and what-ifs and stuff like that. Now, of course, that edition is interesting in its own way for people that like to see works in progress and stuff like that. In French, we have an expression for that. It's called un coup d'argent. Basically, you only do something just to get money. And honestly, that's how Moulin Sarr feels like it's working. The most quote-unquote newest book they released were like 2 different biographies of Hergé. Other than that, it's just re-edition of the original books. Something similar but a little less serious happened with Franquin's Legacy, where Delaf was commissioned to do a new Gaston Lagaffe album. And Franquin's daughter... Why is it always the daughter? Why is it always the daughter, I'm asking? Claimed that she was not contacted about that. and she wanted to cancel the book. But it ended up being finished and going to print, so I think they finally settled on something, and the Laugh was allowed to make the book. For those who are not familiar, the Laugh is a pseudonym, and he originally worked on the comic book Les Nombris. I'm not sure what the English name for that is. I don't know if they decided to do it the belly buttons or the navels or stuff like that. But in French, it's Les Nombris. And of course, when somebody takes an IP and draws it, people complain. Because that's all people know how to do nowadays. Guilty. I complain a lot myself. Considering the current political climate, I have a good reason. And we will leave it at that because we are trying to stay in a good mood here. I say after talking about Moulin Sar, and Moulin Sar just drives me nuts. See, this kind of shit is what I mean when I talk to Jay about comics and I say that I am so smart in European and Quebec comics, but I am completely out of the loop at this point in American comics. And of course, he's American, so on the podcast, he'll talk mostly to American comic creators. Lately, there's been more Canadian creators. You're welcome. But like, I actually have so much more to say. At least what's fun with Lucky Luke. I don't have any Lucky Luke books, but I have read a lot of Lucky Luke and watched the Hanna-Barbera cartoons. Is that Morris, as far as I know, never expressed the wish for Lucky Luke to die with him. I know Hergé expressively had the wish that Tintin died with him, and it is rumored that Franquin claimed that he wanted Gaston to die with him, but that one is less sure, you know, is less official. It's more of a rumor than a certainty. With Hergé, it was a certainty. He wrote the friggin' thing down, like. But that's no fun if you ask me. The fun thing with Lucky Luke is, like, as I said, as far as I know, Morris never expressed a wish that he die with him. So a lot of other different artists were able to make official Lucky Luke albums. And we got a plethora of different styles for Lucky Luke. Choco Boys. I think was drawn by the artist that draws Titeuf, but I could be completely wrong. But it was a much rounder, way more cartoony style than what it usually is. L'Homme qui tua Lucky Luke is much more realistic. And as far as I know, they're all considered canon. There are some artists that will copy Morris's style. There are some artists that will use their own style. If you ask me, both valid because I love playing with styles. That is one of my favorite things when I draw, when I create. Well, as you guys saw earlier, I drew Duncan in my own style and then Duncan in my Amano style. But with that creative decision of letting people draw what they want to draw with Lucky Luke, it made Lucky Luke a very visually interesting series now. In fact, a little bit of trivia here. The first album to come out after Morris's death was La Belle Province. And it was drawn by somebody from Quebec and set in Quebec, which is my province. I know next month I'm due for a PanCon. I will not be revealing what we'll be talking about, but I will say that it's once again an American subject. And I was less invited than more than coerced into it, because one of the fellow invitees really wanted me to be part of the next video we would film with Jay. I mean, when in doubt, blame Canada, you know? Now, of course, I will specify. Mom very rarely sticks her tongue out at me. Here it's just like a clear visual of Mom misbehaving. Just taking a little break because I can feel a little cramp going on, so I'm just going to be doing this for a little while. the meantime, I will be checking the socials. Not too long because, like I said, I want to stay in a good mood. Wow, you can really see in the photos that the paper for the Ohuhu paper I was talking about earlier is gray. Because I put some shines in Duncan's eyes. And like, they are bright against that paper. But once again, I bought the sketchbook to putz around in it. And there's a lot of artists that say that it's good to work on colored paper, so there you go. It's not quite Conte paper there, but it'll make you work on your contrasts. Of course, Mom is misbehaving a lot. Where do you think I got it from? Oh, it's bamboo. I was wondering because I can see the thumbnail on my pretzel player. And from afar, it really looked like a one of those dragon Pokemons whose name escapes me right now because it's past the first 151. Rayquaza, I think? Then I look closer and oh no, it's just curly bamboo. Okay, never mind. Anybody else excited for the Off remake for Switch? I am disappointed in finding out that the reason Toby Fox was brought in to do the soundtrack is because they can't find Elias Conrad Coldwood. He went off the internet around 2021, 2022, cleared off his YouTube. He's off the internet. He's no longer in contact with Mortis Ghost. And I am going purely on Reddit posts at this point. Therefore, they could not re-secure the rights to the original soundtrack. And it's a frickin' shame because I am head over heels in love with the battle theme Pepper Steak. Now, they did post the first sample of what Toby Fox did. It's titled White Meat. And in my humble, I do not write music for a living opinion, that white meat is not really seasoned. And Toby would agree with me because he felt very intimidated trying to do a soundtrack similar to, but not ripping off, Coldwood. it does not have as much bite as the original. But it's not bad either. Plus, at least I do have the original soundtrack on my phone, so if I want to listen to Pepper Steak, I can do it whenever I want. I did pre-order the game. I pre-ordered a physical, I pre-ordered the original, the normal physical, because one, it's cheaper, secondly, I did not need the collector's edition. I personally, this is all personal taste, I do not like the look of the bobblehead of the batter. And knowing how Mortis Goes draws, it's probably very accurate. I would have liked the comic, but then I would be stuck with like the big box and then the bobblehead of the batter. But I am still getting the postcard Memories of the Park. Now, for those of you who did not play the original off, have no idea what I'm talking about. I shouldn't talk. I have yet to play the version I found that could work on my Mac. We all know why, because I do not like gaming on my Mac. Simple as that. But I have watched a lot of Let's Plays. And I do think it's a very interesting game. Now, of course, part of it was from the soundtrack, which is very atmospheric. I mean, Mortis Ghost could not ask for a better replacement to the soundtrack than Toby Fox. So I am curious to see how the soundtrack, how the tunes will sound like for a cleansed area, how it'll be like at the park. There's going to be new secrets and bosses and quality of life improvements. And usually I like hearing quality of life improvements, because I have some serious skill issues. Like I told Joel earlier, he had sent me an Instagram post that was literally just the character designs for the regular units in Final Fantasy Tactics. And he did not know Final Fantasy Tactics exists. He doesn't play a lot of RPGs. So of course I turned into an unskippable cutscene, because I have the game, I have the disc, I have a working PlayStation and everything. PlayStation 2, excuse me, the one that stands up, not even the slim one. Like I told him, like, I love the game. It's a very good game, fantastic game, super good story, great graphics. Skill issues, I never went too far in it. I'm really not good at strategic RPGs. But yeah. I was wondering real quick if they had made a port for Switch, and they did not. For Final Fantasy Tactics. So I'll just be waiting for the official release of Off. Then I get my little game with the little booklet and the little postcard. Now ideally, it would have been nice, like, let's say if like last minute, let's pretend last minute, okay, they find a way to reach Coldwood and ask for permission, and he says yes, then we would gain the ability in the options of switching, you know, like in Dragon Quest, switching between like 16-bit music and orchestral music and stuff like that. I think you can do that in the Final Fantasy remasters too. Then you could switch between the Coldwood and the Toby Fox ones. Like, that would be so nice, you know? Gotta try to align these pupils, or else it kind of looks AI generated, and we do not want that. I was actually watching a cooling video this morning. You know, Juicy Lips, Mommy, you know, the one. And she was actually showing, because there are some AI art softwares that stole her style. And she was showing off how the prompts work. Because the way I do prompts is basically like I Google, like, do a bunch of words, and sometimes for the prompt I put in some commas to add some descriptions and stuff like that. And before people get mad, regulars know the story. I tried AI generation to see how it worked, and if it was worth all the hype the AI bros scream about, because at this point they're screaming. And all those companies that tell you that you need to learn AI generation if you want an art job. So I tried two different AI types of image creation, and I hated both. and then she showed how a prompt worked on a certain AI generation software. And it's literal coding, so that's probably why AI bros think they're actually doing something. Because it looks like coding, like there were literally numbered variations inside the prompt. And I'm like, I know a little bit of HTML, and that's about it. Because once again, I am not a coder. I am not someone who enjoys doing spreadsheets on the weekend. I want to do art. I want to draw. And like, I am ignoring the climate ramification on purpose for this argument. This is just not enjoyable. And this specific way to do prompts is even less enjoyable, in my opinion. When you start putting in numbers and coordinates, or whatever those numbers were, you know what it made me think of? When on Star Trek they go to the replicator and they start listing the exact degree of their tea or food that they want. Like, Picard can get away with just saying tea Earl Grey hot. But there's some people that go like, exactly 98 degrees. Like, I understand graphic designers needing the exact hex code for a color to get that exact hex code. But I'm not like that. This is pretty much how I decide on a color for something. You know? Like, I used Dream Up on DeviantArt once. So once that my first tries are still there in the memory. And I'm sure that would end up looking quote-unquote better if I practice. If I learn how to prompt. But I don't care. It's not fun. Art needs to be fun. Art is not just a hustle. Like, literally, those two Dunkins I showed you guys at the beginning of the stream, those were done for fun. I was not thinking of making content while I was working on them. I drew these literally to relax from drawing during the week. Like, I don't know who said this, but I'm gonna quote it. I want artificial intelligence to do my laundry and my dishes while I do art. I don't want it to do art so I can do my laundry and my dishes. But what if you need 100 variation of something? Nobody needs 100 variation of the same thing, okay? Even Mortal Kombat understood that. And they got like 6. Let me see real quick. From what I know, they probably added some more since then. They got Ermac, Rain, Smoke, Sub-Zero, Reptile, Scorpion, Noob Saibot. Did I already say Smoke? I think I did. But, see? Nobody needs 100 Shinobi in Mortal Kombat. Trivia time! Who was the first ninja in Mortal Kombat? Oh, you guys are gonna hate me for those of you who don't know the answer. Tick, 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 tick. I wish I had a timer. The first ninja of Mortal Kombat was Ermac, actually. Now, as some of you know, originally Mortal Kombat was digitized characters. They would film people and then digitize them, pixelize them to put in the games. Now, as we know, the ninjas present in Mortal Kombat during the digitized era were pretty much just recolors of each other. Sub-Zero, Scorpion, and Reptile. Now, the reason the first ninja was Ermac, I claim, is because the costume for the guy who mocapped for the ninjas was red. And then they simply color swapped his moves. But yeah, you would think it would be green. You would think it would be Reptile, because, you know, chroma screens. They're usually green or blue. But no, the original costume was red. Therefore, technically, the first ninja of Mortal Kombat is Ermac. Mortal Kombat! Mortal Kombat! That's my specialty move, Mortal Kombat. Ooh, had a little doubt for a second, but no, my microphone is indeed on. people are wondering why my mom hugs me when I'm being an idiot, she's looking for the jugular. She's not, but I wouldn't blame her. I am quite a handful, even at my age and my size and width. He took cheating. Ha 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 ha. I gotta change my template to reflect the new way that I color and work. Oh, you guys are gonna like this. I downloaded the brush version of the color only inside the lines Ice Cream Man tool. I'm only showing it off. I still prefer using the lasso tool version. Also, I don't know how that happened, but there was like an incredible big boost in the Tapas subscriptions, and I gained like over 20 new subscribers on Tapas this week. So there will be 2 bonus Irritated Replayer comics that I'll be drawing during the week as a thank you. And considering what happened during Epic Mickey Rebrushed, oh yeah, I got stuff to talk about. I outright broke the game twice, but I managed to beat it. And not happy with that. I got the good ending, despite fucking up a couple times. But I did it. I did it. I'm very happy because I am not known for beating games. Sometimes it's because I kind of lose interest in the game. A lot of time is because skill issues. I'm not a good gamer. But I have noticed lately, in my 40s, that I have, you know, gotten better. I can actually beat a lot of games that I couldn't beat as a child. So I don't know where all these adults got the idea that I thought of myself and that I was a genius. If I couldn't frickin' understand the concept of patience in Secret of Mana. Also, you gotta keep in mind that it being born of French parents, I learned some of my English through video games. It's not because my stepdad would not talk to me. The man is very, very quiet. So a lot of the English I know is the English I've read. So yes, Mom's first real English words that she could say and understand was yes, no, door and window. Mine where, you spoony bard. That's not true. Mine wear big balloon. Because Dad was really, really big when he was young. And before I knew his actual name, because apparently people would not be arsed to tell me, I would call him Big Balloon. See, that's a lot of what you get with me. Trivia about video games, movies, myself. Shiro lore is the best lore. Can't go wrong with Shiro lore. Is lore I'm most familiar with. Just as I'm about to color my mom's eye. We got the same eye color, or should I say eye variation. We both have hazel eyes. So both our eyes will look brown from far but green from close. And for the longest time my dad thought he had hazel eyes. And that's when we also realized that we do not know what my dad's eye color looks like. And when we finally checked, turns out my dad's eyes are gold. But they are, like, brilliant gold. They look yellow. That's how gold they are. You don't see the brown. And the reason we did not know my dad's eye color is because my dad has the Jughead eyes going on. Like, his eyes are open, but you gotta know they're open. The only way you know they're open is if the light catches the eyeball through the lashes. And for those who are not familiar with Archie, Dad has the Brock eyes. We're almost done. We're almost done. I enjoy drawing, but I also enjoy finishing drawing. Because sometimes it's just nice to just sit back and look at what you did. And be like, yeah, I did that. And I have the cramp in the arm to prove it. This is cute. Just gonna finish lettering that, and then we'll put the washi on the background. I'm constantly looking up. I had set up a repeating event on Discord, and I'm watching to see if it's still going. Because I don't remember if I put the end timer at 3 p.m. or 2:30 p.m. And I'm wondering if it'll stop when I stop the live stream, or if it'll stop at 3 p.m. Because clearly it's still going, and it's way past 2:30. I'm very slowly learning stuff. Because that's the thing when I'm learning, I don't know what questions to ask. Or if I'm supposed to ask questions. Most of my learning, oh, I can do that? That's pretty much how it happens. And because of that, people think that I think that I'm better than them when I'm not asking questions. That's not what's happening. Like, at work, do you have any questions? No, because I genuinely do not know I was supposed to ask questions. If I don't understand something, then yes, I will ask questions. But if I'm supposed to ask about something you did not mention or did not explain, then no. I don't know. Finally, a reason to use one of my very flowery washi papers that I scanned. And save. And let's take a little, whoops, there. Now let's take a little look-see. If I forgot something, you never know. Oh, there's a little something I'm going to want to fix. And here, and here. Shiro, that does not look fixed. Hang on, let me do my magic with the correct tool. All right, we are good for today. Nice, nice, nice. And of course, as with every end of stream, we're gonna give extra special caramel drizzled, rainbow sprinkled chocolate syrup thanks to our supporters on various platforms: Ember B, Camus, and Avisser, E Othered, Bad Ad Multiplayers, and Winter the Kitten. Thank you so much for your continued support. It is immensely appreciated. Next live stream, let me see. Okay, yeah. Next live stream is going to be February 2nd. Sunday, February 2nd at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. That's my time, not your time. Maybe your time, I don't know you, I don't know your life. Hope you guys had fun watching me draw this. I had a lot of fun drawing it. I'll see you guys next Sunday, once again at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. I love you all, and bye-bye.